called you and that lets you save. Who cares?
If you truly love the work you do and you do it with your heart and good purpose to serve yourself and other people, then that should be enough.
Welcome to Exploring Mind and Body with Drew Tadia. Drew is an expert in nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, and more. And he wants to help you live a healthier, longer, and more active life. Now here's your host, Drew Tadia.
Welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for being here and being a part of our True Form Life community, whether you're listening on terrestrial radio across the country or as a podcast around the world. We certainly wouldn't be here without you. Now, today I'm bringing on Caroline Collins, and she has a very interesting story, as we like to bring on different guests of different backgrounds. Caroline is well read. She's interesting. She's from the East Coast, moved to the West Coast. She's got a lot of different things going on. She competes in Jiu-Jitsu. Well, that's a difficult word for me to say. She also does a lot of work around nutrition and wellness as a whole. So I'm super excited to have her on the show and can't wait to share this interview with you. So sit back and enjoy. We got all that coming up.
This is Exploring Mind and Body. Naturally improve your lifestyle one show at a time with your host, Drew Tadia.
All right, welcome to another edition of nationally syndicated Exploring Mind and Body. Heard all about Caroline in the introduction, so without further ado, welcome to the show, Caroline.
Thank you, Drew. I'm happy to be here.
You're welcome. It's our pleasure. So we are excited to jump into this interview, a very unique story, and I am super excited to get into it. Can we take a moment here to give you a chance to resonate with the audience? Maybe you could share a bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Yeah. All right. So my name is Caroline Collins. Right now, I'm at the point of my life. I'm a business owner. I'm an athlete. I run a fitness and nutrition business, serving clients, personal or group training. And I design nutrition plans for whatever people are trying to achieve, whether it's just eating healthy or they want to lose weight, they want to gain muscle. I had a client recently that had tumors. She wanted to naturally heal. So I'm all about holistic health. My athletic background, I've been an athlete my whole life. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitor. So I have a fight coming up July 10th I'm preparing for. I'm also a capoeirista, a yoga instructor, just love fitness, love the whole mind-body connection. And then I'm an owner of a cafe in Redondo Beach, and I'm a former science educator. So I have a lot of things in my past that I've done that I am at this point of my life that I'm understanding how amazing it is. I used to think I was just like a collection of random skills, but now I'm maturing and learning how I'm like synchronizing everything to really fulfill my purpose, which is to bring about holistic health and build better people through the mind and body, and really, activating the strengths of what we naturally have through living a natural lifestyle.
Yeah, it's interesting that our past can lead us to our future. I would say that our past doesn't define our future if we don't allow it, especially if it's painful. But in many cases, all these steps have brought us to where we are now. And I think if we could be proud and happy of the things that we'd accomplished, then we can use them all together.
For sure. Yeah, there's a lot of times in life, I think, where we are trying to achieve a certain way, and or like a title, or you're trying to get some status. And I like that you said you have to be proud of like what you've done and what you have, because that is what can really define you, is that creation of yourself based on like what you've gained in life and what special gifts that you have.
No question. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in the countryside of Western Massachusetts, very rural, little town. And I had a big family, 7 kids in my family, my parents and a lot of cousins and uncle and aunts. So just a really big, happy family and country life.
At what age were you, or where in your life were you like, I need to move away from. It sounds pretty awesome. I gotta tell you. Don't get me wrong, I love LA, but that sounds pretty cool. So when in your life were you like, I need to get away from this, I'm going to the big city?
I started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in Massachusetts, but I started with my professor currently, Cobrinha, and he's in Los Angeles and he's one of the best in the world. And starting to train with him was so life-changing. And I was like, all right, I want to commit myself to his teachings and learn the art through him. And so I stayed in LA, and then other things happened. I got promoted to department chair quickly after I started teaching. So just like opportunities really came my way. So I was like, I got to make the most of this. So I stayed, and it's been 7 years.
That's awesome. I wanted to ask you a question about your bio, that I found in your bio, that maybe got you into the jiu-jitsu, which is a very difficult word for me to say, I got to tell you. I can almost never say it right. So you mentioned that you were attacked. Can you tell us about this?
Yeah. So it was after my undergrad, I'm a very slender framed person, and I am athletic though. So I was in a bad relationship. I was in a bad point of my life. I wasn't healthy, wasn't taking care of myself. There were a lot of red flags with this relationship. And I woke up one morning, a couple months after graduating, and I woke up to my boyfriend at the time. He was beating me up. He wasn't in his right state of mind. And it was being attacked and alone in a house that I realized, I was like, I just spent my whole life learning academics, and I have no idea how to use my body right now. And at the time, I was a counselor for homeless adults. And one thing we learned in the training is, if situations ever get violent, you have to remain calm and you have to not be emotional. Otherwise, the person gets more emotional. So when I was being attacked and beaten up, I had to just accept it because I didn't know how to use my body. I didn't want to fight back and anger him more. So it was accepting a beating. And thankfully, I got out of that. I was okay. I was bruised and, a little beaten, but I went out of it knowing that I was like, I need to know how to take care of my body and use it. And I saw after a martial art to learn just body movement. I wasn't even looking for self-defense. I was just like, I need to know how to use my body. And what ended up finding me was Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That is the art of self-defense. So I've been training Jiu-Jitsu for 10 years now. I have 2 world titles, and so it's been amazing. And it's also brought me to my current businesses as well.
That's awesome. Tell me what a world title looks like. Are you traveling the world to, I'm not sure compete against all kinds of different people? What does that look like?
All right. Well, I have traveled the world. I've competed in Europe. I've competed around the United States. But once a year in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, there is a competition championship by the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation. And it's the world. It's the best. And, it's who gets the world title. So there you're world ranked. And as a purple belt, I was 3rd in the world. And then this past December of 2019, I competed as a brown belt, and I was 2nd. I got 2nd place for my division.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And so this is something you said you have another competition. You don't call them fights. What do you call them? Competitions?
Competitions or fights. Like this one, I have a fight. And this one is a fight because it's like the International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation is the most highly acclaimed, their status. Those are like competitions. This one coming up, I'm calling a fight because it's a different organization. They run it a little differently. And I know who I'm fighting ahead of time. And there's only one person, whereas competitions, you fight until you lose. where this one coming up, it's July 10th, it is just one other girl that I'm fighting. So I call this one a fight.
Okay, so you can prepare for this individual.
Yes. There's different strategies. Like this girl, I could study her game and everything, but I don't do it like that. I just focus on myself and what I am good at and strengthen that.
And is there something that you aspire to? Like, I don't know what the next level is. Do you want to get like a black belt and compete at that level, or is that how it works?
That's a good question, because a lot of people go into jiu-jitsu with like these aspirations of what they want to do and become. And for me, I just want to love what I do. So of course, I want to get my black belt. I've been a brown belt for 1.5 years, and I've been training regularly, so it will come. But I've been learning how to use the art to help people. So I started self-defense programs here in Redondo Beach for women. I've also led seminars in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I traveled, like Massachusetts. I did a seminar there. And then I did a recent self-defense and wellness seminar for local schools. And because I'm a former science educator, so I still try to connect with the schools. And then now I'm getting into corporate training. So I got hired by Randstad and also Athleta, which is another company, to do a self-defense class. And, that for me is like, it's self-defense and confidence training, because that's something I've learned from jiu-jitsu, is just how to be more confident and, being ready for an attack with basic self-defense skills. So I'm letting Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and the art take me, with my purpose. I'm not like defining a goal I want exactly.
Have you ever had to use this in self-defense since you've learned it?
No, but I've always questioned what it would look like. But, I've had approaches by people, but something I've seen myself, because not everyone that does jiu-jitsu has a martial artist mind. Something my professor, has talked about and I've learned and also learned through my experiences is that martial art state of mind where I am ready for a fight at any given moment, but I don't go to look for a fight. So I've been like confronted by people and they've like, you could tell that they want to fight, but I just remain very calm and stand my ground. And usually people just back out, but it's there if I ever need it. And that is really great. Walking around knowing that you're equipped to fight is an awesome feeling.
And so I got to ask you, this because I think about sometimes, is there anyone that you aspire to that maybe, I don't know how to ask the question. Like, I looked at some of the guys that when I was growing up, I'd see them in movies like Van Damme, for example, Chuck Norris, and then Steven Seagal. Like, I think that they were they competed before they got to like the movie level, didn't they? Or do you know that background?
Chuck Norris did train someone I've trained self-defense with, the Gracies, who are the family that started jiu-jitsu. Chuck Norris trained with them, jiu-jitsu. I think jiu-jitsu is a part of, I know some police academies, some military people train it because it's a combative sport. So, I'm sure they might have it for movies. And to be honest, Drew, my parents didn't allow TV in the house when I was young. So I never got to watch people, Hollywood stars. I didn't know what was happening.
Okay. Yeah. It's just interesting. Like, I always wonder what people think from the inside, because I don't know much about it. So, very cool. So for you, now you're looking at more of a profession. So what's the next level for you? What do you want to achieve, or what are you working towards when it comes to the holistic approach to living a healthy lifestyle?
Well, I guess, what I'm seeing for myself now is that I have so many great skills that I used to think were random, but now I see they all are connected. Like my background, my undergrad was in law. My master's was in science education. I really was focused on nutrition, starting in school and my undergrad. So I have a passion for that. And then I've been in fitness my whole life. I've been a snowboarder for 25 years. I've been in yoga for 18 years, Jiu-Jitsu 10, Capoeira 6, and just fitness in general. So I'm bringing that all together, and also my experiences competing, because when you're a competitor, that's a whole other level. It's not just your fitness in your technique, your physical techniques, it's your mindset. So I have clients that I serve that I've not even, I almost the term, it's funny, life coach, because anyone could be a life coach, but you end up becoming the guide for people, on how to just live in your body, enjoy your body, and maximize on your health and happiness. And so my next steps, what I'm planning is to start a fitness and wellness center probably. And I'm like, does it include jiu-jitsu? Probably. Does it include self-defense? Probably. But also I'm being hired by these corporate companies to go in and do training with their employees, because I worked with Mike Tyson for over a year in his company doing their workplace nutrition. And I have been able to use my education, science understanding of nutrition to be okay, how do you increase productivity? How do you increase and promote wellness, at the workplace through nutrition? And then, mixing that in with the fitness and being a competitor, I'm kind of visualizing and formulating my next steps, as in I want a concrete place, because right now I rent out of a gym or I go train at clients' houses. So I want a brick and mortar and have a fitness center, and keep in connection with the corporate trainings as well, and the schools, to just promote this about, let's really, for me, life is about using your natural abilities and, enjoying a natural lifestyle and having health and happiness. So it's for me, I'm how do I promote this for anyone, whether you're my client or you're in a school or at a workplace? So that's kind of where I'm at right now.
You said, does Mike Tyson have a business, like a corporation?
He's one of the partners for Tyson Ranch, which is a cannabis and CBD company. Okay. And one of their headquarters was their business headquarters was in El Segundo. So my cafe, Green Tree Cafe, we started catering their events. And then I met him, and just talking with my background, and I proposed to them, okay, let me bring in your workplace wellness with nutrition, because right now they would go out during lunch and get stuff for their employees and bring it back, and I mean they're around cannabis and that stuff, so it's you want your employees to still be productive even if they're doing these other things. And who doesn't, whether you're doing cannabis or not, every employer wants their employees to be healthy and productive, because that just makes for a better workplace. So I was let me use my nutrition, design nutrition for you guys full time, bring in the food and, promote this wellness. And working with Mike Tyson too, he started going on a diet, special type of diet. So I worked with that to make his food for him as well. And I don't know if you know now, but he's going back to fight at 53 years old.
Oh my gosh, I didn't hear that.
He lost a whole bunch of weight. He got back into, the fighting spirit. He's back at it. It's awesome.
Very cool. So it was a nice experience to be able to work with him and talk with him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's one of, the most, for me, inspirational athletes. He came from the Bronx, the hoods of Bronx. He didn't have parental leadership. He learned on the streets. He was abused by his managers. I mean, they took his money. He had to learn a lot in life at a young age. And just look at his record as well. So he battled life in a lot of ways that a normal person doesn't. And now he's back at it at 53 years old, and he's a very nice person on top of it.
Do you have it sounds like you did a lot of reading, or I don't know if it was textbooks or other types of books. Do you have a favorite book that inspires you?
Oh my gosh, I love books. It's interesting that you can tell that I'm a reader. Well, I'm always reading nutrition, science, business, and mindset books. But a book that has inspired me that I think speaks most loudly to me is Jack London's book called Martin Eden. And I don't know if you've ever read it or, Jack London, he writes about, he wrote like The White Fang, Called the Wild, but this book is a little different. It's about a man's evolution into the world of knowledge, I guess. And he becomes self-aware and he educates himself. He's totally turned on at first in the beginning of the book by all the educated people. He's a poor sailor. He grew up on the rough part of the streets and he's not educated. But he's so impressed by the people that are educated. So he gets like a taste of their culture and he wants to be a part of it. So he self-learns everything, and he ends up finding out, like, after he self-learns and he's writing, and he just learns that a lot of people can talk the talk and have these titles by their name, but they really don't know anything at the end of the day.
Yes.
Yeah. And his journey, and it was also interesting. So he's always trying to sell his books because he's this avid writer and he gets denied all over the place. No one knows him. Finally, he gets a breakthrough. Someone sees his work and is amazed by it. And then all of a sudden he gets fame, he gets rich. And then he realizes all these people that once rejected him are after him. And so he's seeing the world from, like, he once was a poor sailor, no one paid attention to him. And now he wrote something and everyone loves him. And then he just starts writing crap just because he's like, let's see if they'll accept this. And then everyone's like, oh my God, this is the best work ever. And so he's just like, he's so turned off by the world. I won't tell you what happens in the end, but it reminds me of, there's been another author I really like is Flaubert. He's a French classic. And then there's some artists and musicians, composers, classical composers that during their lifetime, no one celebrated them. No one gave them credit for the work they did. They were rejected. And then after they die, someone discovers their work and thinks it's amazing. And so I take the story of Martin Eden and these other artists, that it's like, you never should let anyone define your greatness, whether you're accepted or not. Like, you have to believe in yourself, and you have to know if you truly love the work you do and you do it with your heart and good purpose to serve yourself and other people, then that should be enough. Because so often, especially in social media nowadays, is like we look for acceptance by numbers and what really defines your success, So that's why I really like Martin Eden. I
got to read that. You sold me. I read every day, so I got to pick that up. So I just want to ask you if there's anything we missed before we wrap things up, or if there's anything else that you wanted to add.
I actually wanted to ask you, Drew, because you came from a very similar background to me. You were into athletics, you were into fitness and nutrition, and that kind of brought about your wellness. And I thought that was funny. We had a similar background.
We do, yeah. It's very interesting. I think we're even parallel. Like we talked about here off air, that you had a chance to go back to Massachusetts when when things are crazy in LA, and I had the chance to come back to Canada in both remote, rural kind of areas. So I feel like there's a lot of parallels in our lives for sure. Yeah.
It's amazing what for me, it's like the best type of living to maximize your life. It's just simple things that bring about it. It's sleeping well, eating well, moving your body, and being aware of your thoughts and what you pay attention to.
And you know what? I like that. Like, it can be that simple. Like, we have so many, like, there's so many diets and there's so many pills and there's so many like mindsets of like, how can I achieve this and that? And, you know, like in most cases, every one of our goals at the end of the day is just what you mentioned, to live a healthier lifestyle and to be happy and to have a clear mind and to be able to move your body and not be in pain. And it can be that simple, but I think that we're on social media and we see all these pictures of fabricated, edited illustrations that aren't true and they aren't people's lives. And we try to replicate something that isn't real. So if we can go back to the basics and understand that living simple or living healthy can be simple, I think we'd all be much better off.
Yeah. And that's something I teach my clients, is how to intuitively live almost and intuitively eat, because nothing is fancy when it comes to nutrition or lifestyle, and nothing can be copied. You're just going to be a bad version of whoever you're trying to copy. And you're right. There's always new diets and new trends. And for me, that's like marketing. It's all like a marketing scam, because I don't like to say diet. It's a lifestyle. It's eating for your health. It's eating for your wellness. And you should enjoy eating. You should never have to calorie count. You shouldn't have to, restrict yourselves or do these
food.
Yeah. There's simple rules I teach my clients and how to do it that you don't have to do, that calorie counting or weighing your food. But the most important thing is like, enjoy yourself in this experience. Don't get distracted by all the fancy stuff, because it's a very simple way on how to live. Our bodies are made by nature. So you have to remember that they respond best to things also made by nature. So that's like the type of lifestyle I try to incorporate in my training with clients, is just like, hey, it's really simple. We've just been so distracted by things that we think matter, and it doesn't. So it's like, let's go back to the roots and enjoy yourself along the experience.
Caroline, tell us where people can find more details about you, whether that be a website or a program, or I'm not sure anything else that you could share with us so people can reach out to you.
Awesome, Drew. So right now I'm building the website, but the best way to get a hold of me is just Instagram. It's simple. I'm on there and you can find me. My name's Caroline Collins, and the Instagram name is, it's my old granola business. So it's CCS Granola, CC's Granola. So Instagram is CCS Granola, and I'm happy to connect on there.
Awesome. That was fantastic, Caroline. Thank you so much for sharing some of your insights and expertise with us. We very much appreciate it.
Thank you, Drew. It was a great time.
All right, that's going to wrap things up for this edition of Exploring Mind and Body. As always, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of our True Form Life community. So thanks so much to Caroline for coming on. We appreciate her time and expertise. You can definitely check her out on Instagram to see what she has going on. If you'd like to check us out on social media, we're at facebook.com/trueformlife, posting about lifestyle, fitness, nutrition on a regular basis to keep you interested and motivated and going in the right direction. We're also on instagram.com/drewtadia. It's always appreciated when we're tagged or when someone's listening to a show and we put a picture up or put a comment about how they're enjoying the show. That really keeps us going and gives us the motivation to keep putting together new shows each week. You can find all past shows on exploringmindandbody.com. We have been doing this show for years. So if you're looking for a show, if you're looking for a specific topic, you can head over to exploringmindandbody.com, type in the search, and something will pop up. I can just about guarantee it. Our main website is trueformlife.com. This is where we do more meal planning, recipes, at-home workouts, stress relief, energy, digestion is what we do. 100% full-time. We are moving forward day in and day out. So we so much appreciate you guys following along, seeing what we're doing, what we have going on. You can also check out our other podcast called Transformations Through Running. Very interesting, incredible stories. I would say extraordinary stories from regular people that are just there to inspire, to share. And I think that even if you're not a runner, you'd get something out of that show as well. You can find that on iTunes and Spotify and a bunch of other podcasting platforms. That's pretty much all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next week. That's it. That's all I got. I'm out of here. As always, I'm your host, Drew Tadia. in health and fitness for a better world. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Exploring Mind and Body with Trueform Life's Drew Tadia, fitness expert. To find out more about the show, Drew Tadia, or to listen to past shows, visit exploringmindandbody.com.